Hello, how are you? Very good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. This is a series of conversation regarding more water for Baja California because it's such an important thing and we are worried and we are busying ourselves getting to people how important it is to have water. The University of Baja California Sur, BCI, Baja California, Baja Coastal Institute, we are all getting busy. We want to see what is happening in Baja California. From today, we are going to start with 5 podcasts where we have engaged specialists carefully selected to deal with different subjects. The first subject today is about our situation. Monday, 7th of November, captation of water. Monday, 14th, then on the 21st, captation of water from the atmosphere. And on the 28th, we will be finishing our series of webinars. You see, it's a series of very interesting subjects. And we would like you to let us know where you are listening to us from, and so that we can answer to you and give you all the information. We want to show you a little video. In Latin America, there are lots of cities. I am really sorry, but I'm not getting the audio, sorry. For me, water is something that is basic for life, especially in Baja California South. This is the driest state in the whole republic. We are especially worried about the next generations. We have to share our resources and study. BCS is a study where we have very little water availability. We have less and less available water. We are polluting it. We are fighting a lot. Almost everyone is fighting to get water. We have to bring by truck or just getting someone to bring water back and forth. As citizens, we think that in the peninsula, we have to be conscious of this problem and really care for water. That's why it is so important that all the institutions get involved. Let's participate in the reflection and the research of solutions to this subject. Of course, we don't have a lot of time. We have to act now. And here in BCS, we have very few resources. Why is water so important? It has physical, chemical characteristics that relate them with water. It is involved in all our daily activities. We haven't given it enough value because we see it like something that is natural, and it is natural, but it is worth gold. We have to be conscientious of how to benefit from it, how to take advantage of it. We have done a lot of studies, but we have to take action. We don't have a lot of rain falling, and that's not enough for our state. Our streets are getting emptier. We cannot change anything about the climate, but what we can do is our conscience towards the obtention of this resource. It's care, and we don't doubt that the whole society needs to contribute to the solution of this problem. Us in Baja California Sur will be pushing that way. The solution in the fight against this resource, we have to get involved and be conscientious about what we are offering the following generations. We need solutions. We need to plan to get a better tomorrow. So, could you see this video where we are dealing with all the subjects that will appear in this podcast webinar? You have a connection in English in YouTube. So this is the first day, and we are very honored to have the director of the University of Baja California Sur, to whom we are asking to give us a message. Very good afternoon. Thank you for the honor of inviting me to this exercise on reflection that, as I saw in the video, it is very clear that there is a collective effort. In that sense, I thank the initiative taken by the Council of South California of Science and Technology, which together with the Commission of Water, State Water, and BCI, they have proposed these webinars that is aimed to take conscience of the problem. From the Academy, we took the position that against a problem that is as severe and important as this is, we're not talking about the future, but also in the present, it is crucial that all institutions participate in the same sense and that we manage to reach this objective. I know that those that are following us would like other people to participate that know more than me. So I just want to reiterate the volunteer of the university that we will be responding to this sense of social responsibility, and any initiative, either from institutions or from the federal sites, we will be supporting them. In this context, thank you to Dr. Sara Díaz. It is 5:15 on October 31st, October 2022. To me, it is it's an extreme honor to declare these conversations titled More Water for Baja California South and Alternatives in our territory, anticipating that it is a great initiative that is looking especially at society and will be probably most likely supporting the ideas that are being given out in this webinar. Congratulations, success, and we will be following closely. these important activities. Thanks.
Muchas gracias, doctor Dante Salgado. Bueno,
thank you very much, Doctor.
Demos inicio a
Let's start this first webinar, which is going to be about what the situation is in Baja California Sur. For this, we have Dr. Arturo Cruz Falcón, Dr. Maribel Cruz from the Center of Research of the University of Arizona. Also, María Flores, who is part of the organization, and now she's here as a specialist on management of water in Baja California. Let me remind you that we are also on Facebook, where you can ask your question, and we also have a presence in YouTube in English. We are going to start with Dr. María Zeta Flores. She's a doctor in water engineering and environment from the University of Valencia in Spain. She is now responsible for Sciences of the Water and the program of integral management from the University of Baja California. Doctor, please, if you would please give us your presentation. Go ahead. Of course, thank you, Sara Díaz. Thank you for your welcome and your presentation. Let's go ahead.
Esa no sería la presentación, Leonardo, creo que es del doctor Cruz. Exactamente. Listo. Muchísimas
okay,
gracias.
This is the presentation, the correct one. Situation of water in Mexico, it reads.
La transmisión por redes sociales. Bienvenidos a esta serie de webinars.
Thank you to this series of webinars, More Water to Baja California Sur. The subject I'm going to deal with today is related to the situation in our country. What is the national context? It is a subject really complex because our territory is very wide and heterogeneous. Water is a resource that touches a lot of actors and environments, which makes it very difficult to manage it. I'm going to start declaring a consideration that probably as citizens of Mexico should be very, very clear. Today, we have a national water emergency. What does this mean? This means that the most part of the national territory has some sort of problem related to water. Like I show you in this slide, these are very concrete details, but they help us understand. Almost 2/3 of the municipalities of the country are being affected. If we want to know how water is distributed in the country, we have to be very clear that 76% of the water goes to the agricultural and cattle section. Then it's 14% for human consumption. The lack of water for all those that are listening to me has reached an extreme and complex situation that very many times residents of some village or other, our location, might even go to demonstrations and protests against the government. That means that when we started 2022, the figures of the crisis of water in Mexico were alarming. There's a drought. 8 out of 32 states in Mexico were suffering some sort of drought, between extreme and moderate. This leads us to know and understand what the general situation in the hydric area in Mexico. After a lot of forums and talks, etc., I have tried to elaborate this kind of image. But if, for instance, you think we have to develop projects and sceneries about climatic change, what do we need? Data, personal, whatever you think, it can be implemented. It is very important to have data. It's to all of you that are listening. Without the data, hydrological, how much is it raining, how much is evaporating, how much is filtering, all the projects and all this taking information. It means that in Mexico we need to strengthen the system.
Ahí está, perfecto, muchas gracias. Siguiente variable, personal capacitado.
The second point, people that are prepared, economy, hydrology, etc. Unfortunately, without this kind of people, we won't be able to take the real data. It's very important to get people ready in this sense. The following point is about budget. If we are not going, it is a very heterogeneous country, and to manage the situation both in the cities or in the mountains and in the coast, it's very difficult. So we need help from the government. Also, we need fines or sanctions. If we don't have those, we are not going to succeed. There are a lot of regulations, and they are very good, but very often those stay on the paper. We need to monitor works and technology. If we do not invest on those, we won't be able to canalize it and distribute it. It is very important to invest on those. Unfortunately, we are obsolete maybe 10 or 15 years with respect to other countries. We are getting behind. And how are we digitalizing the world of water? And last but not least, we need budgets, we need finances. The people that are in charge of taking decisions, without a budget enough, it is impossible to manage the resources. It's not enough with creativity and goodwill. We need a budget. To finish with, please, next slide. I'd like to determine precisely as the sum. We have to be conscientious about the amount of water that we have available. There are key sceneries that we have to think about. Not every aspect has the same weight. We know this everywhere in Mexico. We have to give more resources to water capturing, to treat residual waters. That is very important, and a problem that we share with other countries of Latin America. So that means giving a second use to water. We don't have the possibility of giving water only one use. These are the ones that have direct contact with citizens, and very often those organizations that are in charge of water are the worst. The nets of distribution in different places. We are working with obsolete material, maybe 40, 50 years old. All the techniques that we can implement to get water are going to fail because of having obsolete equipment leaks that happen in most of the municipalities. And a point with which I would like to finish up is the subject of budget. We don't understand it in general, but in the graphic, as you can see, the budget, the general budget in the last few years, this aimed at to environmental needs has gone down. Corporation has been going up and basic needs are going down. So the National Commission of Water has seen its budget reduced when in 2018 it had 32,000 million pesos budget. In 2021 it had 24 million. What does that mean? We are not giving it the priority that we need for works, for monitoring, for staff that is really prepared to fix leaks, for residual plans. And without a budget, we are not going to go ahead. From the United Nations, we have had more than 20, no, according to the United Nations, we have at the most 20 years to fix this water problem. So this is all. That is my email address, and I'm sure you will enjoy our second talk. Thank you very much indeed.
Gracias, doctora.
Thank you, Dr. María Z. Flores.
Ahora la doctora Maribel Cruz Ayala, que sea la
Dr. Maribel Cruz is our next guest. She's Doctor in Sciences and Resources of the University of Arizona, and in Hydric Resources. She works for the program.
Doctora Maribel, le agradecemos su participación.
Dr. Maribel, thank you for your presence, and please go ahead. Thank you. Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their invitation and to all of those that are watching this presentation.
Okay, gracias.
So the first slide. I work in the University of Arizona, and recently I've been working in programs, trans-border programs, and also research aimed at dealing with the water problem and in the northwest of the country. First of all, why do we talk about water recharge? It is a natural process, but when it rains, but due to the organization of different ecosystems in the world, the natural recharge has been altered. So, for instance, we can see here
en esta imagen cómo el agua subterránea se ha ido
we can see that
distribuyendo
underwater
en varias regiones
and
del mundo.
underground water in different regions in the world, for especially India, north of the American continent. And so those are bad scenarios, and the future is not very happy looking. I just want to call your attention to review what happens in the north of Mexico. I hope the colors are, you can see the colors, but it will, the recharge will be getting lower. What is happening in Mexico? Dr. María Flores explained. This is the country. Green represents aquifers that have water availability, where you can get going, you can get more permits to obtain more water. The red parts show where there is no availability. You cannot get permits. Let's see what's happening in the northwest of Mexico, especially Sonora and Baja California Sur, where red is predominant, almost more than the state in both cases. On top of this problem, the other is related to the influence to salinity, especially in places that are coastal, and also Sonora and Baja California Sur have similar cases. Salinity and other problems. Sorry, the sound is really awful. What options do we have to look into these problems? There are several options. Desalination, that is a proposal, an alternative that has its pros and cons. Increase the efficiency in water, especially in agriculture. More than 75–80% of water that we use in Mexico. If we don't increase efficiency, nothing in agriculture, no other solution is going to work. Then recharge, less than 1% of the water we have in Mexico is being reused. And I'm going to focus on this option, the recharge of water. What is the managed recharge of aquifers? We are talking about a series of methods that allow us to get water in the aquifers and store it there so that it's available in the future. What has happened in Mexico regarding this recharge? In these states that you see in a dark green, Baja California, and the south, Sonora, Chihuahua. States of Mexico, and City and Oaxaca, there are cases of researchers that have been working with projects on recharge. Unfortunately, in most cases, it has been just research cases, just limited by budgets, and there have been very few cases where there have been successful researches.
Manejada o artificial. Aquí súper rápido les voy a
So
presentar
let me show you here
un par de
just
imágenes del caso de San
some
Luis Río Colorado
data
en Sonora,
of the case in
que
San
están
Luis Rio
ya
Colorado
más de
in
20
Sonora.
años con,
They
haciendo
have
trabajos de
been
recarga. La
they
imagen
have been
anterior
doing recharge works.
son las lagunas donde se
These
infiltra el
are
agua.
the
En este caso
lagoons where
están
water
usando
is
agua tratada.
infiltrated. In this
Y
case,
las
they are using
siguientes son
treated
las lagunas en las
waters.
cuales
And then there are also
ya
the
se
lagoons
infiltró todo el agua.
where all the water was
En
used.
general, ¿cuáles son las
In
limitaciones
general, what are the
que hemos podido
limitations
identificar
that we
respecto
have
a por qué no hay mayores
identified
proyectos de recarga en
in
México?
respect
Están
to why we
básicamente
don't have
relacionadas
more
con la
recharge
gobernanza.
projects?
No está claro
That
cómo
is
se pueden
related
asignar los
to
permisos, no
governing.
está claro cuáles son las
Nobody
regulaciones
knows
que
how
tienen
to
que
get
hacer respecto al agua
permits,
recargada. Y
what the
también para
regulations
enfrentar
are, and
estos
also
problemas,
it has to
estas
do with
limitaciones del marco
facing
regulatorio,
these
algunas
problems.
personas que han estado trabajando con
Some
proyectos MAR en México
researchers
proponen que se incrementen los incentivos
propose
fiscales, que se
just
definan
to
de mejor manera los derechos sobre el
increase
agua que ha sido
fiscal
recargada, crear programas
incentives,
especiales de
define
parte del
the
gobierno
rights
federal para que se puedan transferir
to the
derechos de
water that
recarga
has
y
been
obviamente pues incrementar los
stored,
recursos que se destinan a los proyectos de
increase
recarga.
the public inversion and other
Pues esto es todo.
resources.
Fue una
So this is all.
presentación
This is
resumida de lo que se refiere a la
a
recarga
summary
especialmente.
in
Y
what is
este es el
concerned
correo
to
que
water
pueden contactarme.
recharge.
Muchísimas
And
gracias.
here you have my
Muchas
email address
gracias.
where you can contact me. Thank you very much.
Gracias, doctora Maribel. Más datos para poner atención. Damos paso a nuestro
More
tercer
detail
ponente, el
to
doctor
pay
Arturo
attention
Cruz
to.
Falcón. Él es especialista
We are
en
going
física del
to
clima
have Dr.
y es
Arturo
entonces
Cruz
realiza
Falcón.
estudios sobre disponibilidad y calidad del
He
agua. Adelante, por favor,
studies
doctor.
availability
Doctor
and
Cruz Falcón.
water quality.
Gracias.
Thank
¿Está la
you.
presentación? Canijo, salió un poquito alargada, pero en fin. Miren,
This is my
sobre
presentation.
la parte principal de este webinar, que es nuestra
The
situación del
main
agua
part
en Baja
of this
California Sur.
webinar,
Puedo
which
decir
is
que
the
la
situation
situación
of
de los
water
recursos
in Baja
hídricos es
California
mala,
Sur,
tal
I
vez
can say
muy
it is
mala.
bad,
Y,
very bad.
sin embargo, existen soluciones ante
Nevertheless, there
escasez
are
de
solutions.
Y déjenme decirles, porque pues ya tengo
Let
más
me
de
tell
15
you,
años trabajando
because I've been
en esta
working on this for
problemática,
over 15 years,
la incertidumbre de la disponibilidad y
the
calidad del agua
uncertainty of
definitivamente está
availability
ligado
and
a la
quality of
naturaleza,
water
al ciclo hidrológico.
is related definitely
Depende
to
si tenemos
water,
más o menos
to
agua
nature.
de las
It depends
cuestiones temporales y
on whether we
espaciales.
have more
Es decir, por
or
ejemplo,
less
si
water.
hay sequía
For
o si
instance,
hay
if
mucha
there are
precipitación o huracanes,
if there's a lot of rain
tenemos
or
más
there
o
are
menos
hurricanes,
agua, definitivamente.
we might
Sin
have more or less
embargo, hay
water.
un aspecto que es sumamente importante y que se toca muy poco,
But
o nada más lo
there is an
mencionamos así
important
ligeramente,
aspect that
que
we
es
don't usually
la
mention,
inestabilidad hídrica
which is
depende de una
the
buena o una mala gestión
hydric
o administración.
instability
Ese es
depends
un problema
on
muy
a
grave
good or
que
bad
tenemos en todo el
management.
país
That's
y
a very
aquí
serious
en
problem we
Baja
have in the
California
whole
Sur, en la
country.
ciudad de La Paz,
And
está muy
here
claro.
in Baja
Déjenme
California
decirles
Sur
lo
is
siguiente,
very
por favor.
clear.
Que a pesar de que en ocasiones no tenemos huracán,
Even if sometimes we don't have hurricanes, which are the ones that bring a lot of water, there is rain in higher places every year. The availability we have in the aquifers
de 21 acuíferos sin disponibilidad son los que están más o menos en color rojo ahí, y 18 acuíferos con disponibilidad.
The ones that you see in red, the aquifers in red are not available, and the green ones do. But a lot of the ones that are available have the problem of being right next to the water, to the sea, and they become too saline. When you're close to the sierras, there seems like there is a lot of water, and there is very, very little availability in a lot of the aquifers that are considered available, because at least there's very, very little availability, and there are about 7 to 8 aquifers that have between they shouldn't be considered available, although they are. And okay, he's just giving some details about some aquifers, and there's a lot of deficits in a lot of these aquifers that are unavailable, according to the reports from CONAGUA. The process of recharge in a lot of places in the world is that in the elevated areas, for instance, Sierra de la Laguna, there's a lot of vegetation, and also there are fractures areas. So water goes down, infiltrates, and it flows underground, and it gets to refill the aquifers. I'm showing you the area of the Valley of La Paz. What you see to the left in a square in white is the aquifer where most of the wells are accumulated. We extract the water. So what falls on the sierras flows underground, and it could be days or months or years until it reaches the area of exploitation. It's a long process. It's not when it rains we recharge them. Here you can see what the average rainfall. You have an average of 265 millimeters per year, and where it rains the most is around San Pedro. You see it in deeper blue, and the area of the East Cape, which in a near future is going to be overpopulated, and that is a problem. But as you see in the Sierra, the situation is very, very good. Here you can see the areas of Cabo Pulmo, Santiago, Los Planes. There is rain. We have water, but we have a bad management. That is the reality. If you see in the aquifer of La Paz, data from 2019, what you see in red has 2.5 grams salt per liter. And that is especially where the agricultural wells are located. Where you see in white is 1 gram per liter is water that has a high salinity, and so there is a problem with the salt water. In the north, you see in the center, there is it's like 9.1 kilometers inland, there's so it's quite it's getting further. What you see in green, there are concentrations under 1 gram per liter of solid salts. So those are the areas that we have to protect and we have to preserve, and to that we have to take the appropriate measures. There's too much. It's a lot of information for very little time. But anyway, here we see the aqueducts that are providing the city of La Paz. You see Carrizal, higher up San Pedro, and then the battery of wells that supply La Paz. And then it goes to different sectors. There's 7 million cubic meters from this data. 300 liters of water per person per day, details from 2020. So when we open the tap, there are many colonies where they don't get any water. The Onzapas of La Paz has a concession of 23 million cubic meters per year, and he is overdoing it by 4 million per year. Conagua should go and tell everybody, why are you extracting so much water? The volume that you're allowed is 23 and you're taking 27 million. So there has to be some pressure from the authorities to go with delineations, that there must be measures. That is what I mean about bad management. Here you see that the estimate water that we misuse is between 30 to 35% because of leaks. Also, 4 to 6 million cubic meters per year because there are no measure devices. Meters. Since we don't have these meter counters, there is a problem with the organism that deals with that. As you see, there are solutions in short and long term. One solution of the deficit of the La Paz aquifer we would need to get meters and repairing the distribution, the net. Today, the natural availability at the moment is, you can see down below the details. If we see, so if we installed meters all over the place, we would reduce the amount of water extracted in 22.1 millions. If we fixed it, there wouldn't be a deficit. There would be 5.7 cubic meters. But just if we manage to get to balance the use and the extraction, then that would be enough. We also have the problem of the bad management. Here, the federal, state, and national government has allowed an indiscriminate development. And you see the area of San Bartolo, Los Planes, there are a lot of developments that are being allowed, mega project. That has to change. And here on the right, you see a table with the availability. with
menor
just
de 1 o
San
arribita de 1.
Bartolo.
Y vean en la imagen todos los
You
polígonos de color
you can
amarillo
see
son los nuevos
the
desarrollos.
details there.
Es increíble. Desde Cabo
And on the
Pulmo
left, you
hasta
see
los
all
planes.
the developments that have
Va a
been
ser un
allowed from
problema
Cabo
grande
Pulmo
a
to Los
futuro que
Planes.
se tiene que
So
encargar
it
de
is
ahorita,
going
pero
to
las
be a
autoridades tienen
very,
que
very
poner de
big
su
problem
parte.
for the
Está
future.
bien que
But
todos los
authorities
ciudadanos,
have
pero
to do
también
their
las
part.
autoridades, porque esto no está bien. La
Citizens,
siguiente, por
of
favor.
course, but authorities
Aquí tenemos, miren, a
especially.
través, ya
Here
casi
you
voy a
have,
terminar, pero siento que es muy
I'm
importante. A través de un análisis que se hizo de los nuevos
through an
megadesarrollos, de los
analysis
desarrollos de
that
las
was
villas, de
done about the
hoteles,
mega
de casas que se
projects,
rentan a todo
hotels,
lo largo de ese
houses
corredor
that
en la
are
Ciudad de México,
rented,
desde Los Planes
tourist rentals, etc., from Los
hasta
Planes
Cabo Pulmo.
to
Se
Cabo
van a
Pulmo.
requerir al 2040
You
50
to
millones de metros
2040,
cúbicos de agua.
50
La
million
pregunta
cubic
es, ¿de dónde se
meters of
van a
water are
extraer?
going to be
¿De dónde se
needed?
van a
And the
obtener?
question
¿Cuáles
is,
van a
where
ser las
are we
fuentes de
going to
abastecimiento?
get them?
Sí, algunos desarrollos ya se han aprobado con
Yes,
una
some
desaladora. Trae sus
developments have
problemas, sus
already been
pros
approved
y
with
contras,
desalination
una desaladora.
plants,
¿Sí? Pero
which,
esto no
solves the
debe de
problem
suceder.
partly.
No estamos para que
But
esto
this
se
shouldn't
establezca en
happen.
nuestro estado,
This shouldn't
precisamente
be
por la falta de disponibilidad de
established
agua.
in our
Entonces,
state.
no se modera el desarrollo, debe de moderarse en todo el estado.
We have
Y se
to
continúa con el mismo tipo
slow
de
down with
desarrollos
development. If we keep
tradicionales
going on
de la
at this
turística.
rhythm
Existen un
and
chorro de
with
cosas más,
developments,
entre ellos los
traditional
acaparamientos
developments,
de
super
agua, el
touristic,
desperdicio, la falta
the
de eficiencia en el uso
waste,
del agua, etcétera. Siguiente.
the lack of efficiency in water, it's going to be
Entonces,
a very big problem.
existen más
So,
soluciones para enfrentar
options
la falta de agua. Las que le
to
mencioné
face the
ahorita
lack
sobre
of water.
el caso del acuífero de La Paz, pues es a corto plazo. Si se
What I
quiere, se
mentioned
consigue
about
el
the aquifer in La
recurso,
Paz
se
is
instalan medidores
short term.
y vamos a favorecer el acuífero y vamos a
Meters,
tener más agua. Ahora, hay otras
installing
opciones
meters,
para
we are
mediano y
going
largo
to
plazo.
regulate
Es el
and
uso
have more
eficiente del
water.
agua, la
But
cultura del agua, el
other
tratamiento de aguas
options in the
residuales,
long
que ya se
term,
mencionó, construcción de
use,
infraestructura
street.
hidráulica, presas, bordos, diques, recarga artificial.
Okay,
También
he's
se
reading all
mencionó.
this very fast.
La cosecha de agua
Efficient
de
use
lluvia,
of water,
condensación de la
culture
humedad
of
de la
water,
atmósfera,
treatment of
desalación.
residual
Pero hay que
waters
moderar
to
el
be
desarrollo y no
reused,
aprobar proyectos
construction
sin que no
of
se cuente con el recurso agua.
hydraulic
Esa
infrastructures,
aprobación,
just
entre
such as
comillas, por
dams
ejemplo, del
and
desarrollo Punta Norte,
dikes,
Atiene, en
artificial
Bosquil,
recharge
cerquita
of
de
the
la ciudad de La
aquifer,
Paz,
harvesting
no
of
debió de darse, o no debe darse todavía.
rainwater,
La siguiente.
using condensation in the
Bueno, es
atmosphere.
todo.
And I'm sorry, I missed the last two.
Muchas gracias.
And now this is it. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah, thank you.
Doctor Arturo Cruz, Falcón,
Gracias.
muchas gracias. Sabemos que tienen mucho por compartir, pero escogimos este
We know
formato
you
donde
have
se
a
diera de
lot
forma
to share,
concentrada este panorama general.
but this
La
is a
próxima
concentrated
diapositiva, con este
formula.
resumen, pues, es muy, muy valiosa.
So with these
Bien, vamos a dar
summaries
paso a las
are very, very
personas, a las
valuable.
preguntas que nos han llegado y que
We
queremos
are going
externarles.
to
Yo les digo que me
look
indiquen
into the
con su mano
questions that we
quién
have
tiene y les
received.
gustaría dar respuesta a la pregunta.
And
Algunas de ellas en sus presentaciones ya se tomaron, pero
okay,
hacer un hincapié sobre estas. La primera pregunta,
so the
¿cuáles
first
son los
question,
escenarios futuros del agua en Baja California Sur y en
which
México?
are the
¿Quién
future
quisiera
scenarios
contestar?
of water in Baja California South? Who is going to answer this?
Adelante, doctora Maribel.
Doctora Maribel.
Desafortunadamente no son,
Unfortunately,
en el noroeste de México no
in
son
general,
nada
in the
halagüeños,
northwest of
especialmente
Mexico,
considerando
situation is not
el
very
tema del
good,
cambio climático,
especially
que
considering
no hay
climate
un consenso
change.
generalizado respecto a
There is
patrones de
no
lluvias en el
generalized
noroeste de México.
consensus on the
Sin embargo, lo
pattern
que
of
sí
water,
ya hay un
but
consenso bastante
what
grande respecto a los
what
modelos
there is
es
a
que la
consensus about
temperatura va a
is
seguir incrementando,
temperature is going
muy
to keep on
rápidamente.
increasing quite
No
fast.
sabemos qué puede pasar con la lluvia.
We don't know what
Esa
can
es la
happen with
parte,
water.
digamos, negativa. La parte positiva, como
That is the
mencionaba
negative
el
part.
doctor Cruz
The
Falcón,
positive part,
en
as
general en
Dr.
México
Cruz Falcón
y en
mentioned,
muchas
in
partes del
general in
mundo,
Mexico and in many parts of the world,
una reconocida investigadora,
there is
señala que las crisis del agua no son crisis por el recurso, son crisis
as a
de
researcher
gobernanza
says,
en general.
crises are not so much with the climate because of the government and management. So if regulations that are are really implemented, or we actually modify whatever needs to be modified, and then that would help us in the future. Hope I have answered. Thank you.
No es nada bueno.
So, yeah, it doesn't look too good. One of the questions
doctora María Z. Flores.
for María Z. Flores.
Se pueden llevar a cabo por
concrete actions that can be taken by the citizens, like by the people.
Muchas gracias, doctora Sara, y también al público por ahí que nos está
Thank you, everyone.
preguntas. Bueno, yo creo que la ciudadanía también tiene mucha responsabilidad.
What people can, they have a lot of responsibility in this subject of hydraulic crisis. So we have to work as a collective, even if there are sectors that have a much bigger consumption. It is true that as citizens, the day that we don't have access to water, or the days that we don't have water, we really regret it. Give it the real weight and importance that it does have. So what can you do as a citizen? Let people inform people. Let them know about this problem. Always be clear that we cannot waste water. If there is an opportunity of, for instance, change the way we use the WCs, eliminate grass in our gardens, being the driest state. Why do grow grass in this place? We have to pay our water bill. That is very important. And if we can go a bit further, implement any system of water captation in our houses. And in fact, we have a future webinar that is going to deal with that. Thank you.
Otra de las preguntas que nos llega, y esta la trató el doctor Arturo Cruz Falcón, pero si
okay, a question for Dr. Arturo Cruz.
Dice, ¿la escasez del agua en Baja California Sur es un tema de cantidad de agua o inadecuada gestión?
The lack of water in Baja California Sur is a matter of actual lack of water or bad management. Good question. The subject of scarce water is due to low rainfall, 50%, let's say, and the other 50% is because of the bad management. It's not being administrated in a good way. If we keep on going like this, soon, I cannot say how many years, but we'll reach day zero. Definitely the federal government through the CONAGUA and the state government and the municipal government through ONSAPAS, who distribute the water in the states, they have to participate and work on this. And the first thing before any works, how am I going to give water, good water, to a net that has a lot of leaks? And how is it going to reach homes? That water that is going to be wasted because there are no meters. We cannot know how much water is really being wasted if there are no meters. I believe that if water was administrated if it was administrated in a private way, I assure you that in every home there would be a meter, in every shop, in every factory. That's the first thing we have to do. I don't understand why. I've mentioned it in meetings, workshops, to the municipal presidents, the water commission, and they don't give me real answers. I think we can get 100 million pesos to put meters in all the homes and also keep on repairing the network so that there are no leaks. So that's the answer, 50-50.
Doctor Arturo Cruz Falcón.
Thank you, doctor. Yes, these are actions that we have to implement in the long and short term at the level of citizenship too. Mayra Victoria asks everyone, the three of them, how long do we have until we start doing the captures that we need? Who is going to answer? Okay. We have to start now. If it's actions from citizens, we have to start now. We are lacking a lot of culture on water. There is a channel of the government. Why don't they use it to teach about the use of water? They are giving other informations, but why not water? What can we do? Just look after it. Look after water resources. At home, reuse, for instance, the water from the washing machine. At home, we use it to water the plants in the garden. We don't have grass, please. We don't. You have to avoid plants that use an excess of water, and tell your neighbor not to chuck water out. If you have a leak, you have to fix it immediately. The problem is that we don't fix it because we are paying a fixed amount, and since it we don't do anything. So it is necessary that authorities implement those actions, and consequently we do it. We need to be forced into it. There's a lot of measures that we can implement at home, but just as long as we do something, just one thing, it's good enough. Yes, like as we said in many other occasions, don't leave everything up to the authorities. Let's do something as individuals and expand this culture of water. Another question from María Concepción Vilche. Can we say that we are in an hydric emergency? He says it's a very direct question, but from my point of view, we are in a hydric emergency, because if we don't do anything or very little, like the excuse is for us citizens, we don't do, and the authority, because there is no budget, but you can manage it. You manage it for other things, so you can do it for the water. If we continue acting like this, yes, we are in an emergency. If we keep going on like this, very soon we'll reach day zero.
Nos pregunta el doctor Enrique Troyo Diegues.
Dr. Enrique
un dato que
asks
manejaba usted, doctora María Zeta Flores, que es importante
to María Zeta Flores.
Dice el doctor Troyo, los valores de disponibilidad de agua que se reportan,
the values of water availability that are reported in the official diary of the Federation, are those Can we trust them? Can we trust those details?
Doctora Sara y al doctor Enrique Troyo.
¿Cómo se puede ajustar si las áreas de la casa ya cambiaron? Ahora sí.
De acuerdo. Muy bien, muchas gracias, doctor Enrique Troyo, por seguir la transmisión.
Thank you, Dr. Enrique Troyo. Undoubtedly, they are quite reliable. That is the direct answer. We still need more work on the field. We need pumping trials, long duration. We are working on infiltration and vertical recharge methods that are totally obsolete, that are not related to the latest data. So that is where there is the importance of the hydrometeorological data. We should install hydrometric stations in all Baja California Sur. All the amount of water that falls from the rain just goes down and it goes into the Pacific, and we don't have, or the Sea of Cortez, and we don't have that, we don't know the amount of water really that is falling. If we don't have enough monitoring infrastructure, the decision taking is not very reliable.
Muy bien, muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Pregunta la ingeniero Cristina Talamantes Cota para la doctora
Engineer
Maribel
Cristina
Cruz.
Talamantes to Maribel.
¿Cómo puede la ciudadanía participar en la toma
How
de
can
decisiones para mejorar la
citizens
gestión del agua
take
en
part
Baja
in
California
decision
Sur?
taking to improve management of water in Baja California Sur?
Quizás yo no soy la indicada.
I don't think I am ideal to answer this.
En México, las regulaciones,
Unfortunately, in Mexico,
las leyes prevén pocos
regulations
para que la ciudadanía realmente
give few
tome parte de decisiones. Y no es el único caso en México. México no es el único caso. En general, en el mundo,
they don't give you much option to take part of the decisions.
Un espacio que incida, una
there isn't a possibility for the public to actually be into the decision making. The law of national waters has two spaces, like technical committees of underground water, which are not directly related to the use of water in Mexico or quotas, but it's more like underground water. Those spaces are more open to citizens to participate. There's at a municipal level, there are people that represent the civil organizations which participate in these spaces of the operating organisms. Further, at a federal level, the Comisión Nacional del Agua, CONAGUA, has a space where empresarial organizations participate, and that I can identify that as another area where citizens can participate. Neighbor associations could approach them and give ideas. Okay, one question for all three of them. Could you demand from water companies to carry out the maintenance of the installation?
No está muy clara la pregunta.
Sorry, the question is not very clear.
Exactamente, porque entiendo que
what does it means exactly?
De la red, de los pozos, del alcantarillado lo maneja el organismo de los
Wells network
operadores. Se refiere
is dealt by the organizing organisms.
Yo creo que sí.
So what is the question again? Could you demand these organisms to be responsible for the maintenance? Yeah, it is contemplated. They should do it, but it's not done that way. Yes, we should demand it.
Hay un problema también de
But
que
look, there is a problem.
ahorita, como mencionó la doctora Maribel,
like Dr. Maribel
hablando sobre la
mentioned,
gobernanza del
talking
agua, la
about
autoridad
management
dice
of
que nos
water,
permite,
authorities
permite
say that it
estar en
allows
la
us to
posible toma
take
de
part,
decisiones, hacer
to be part
propuestas
of the
sobre la
decision
problemática.
making, make
Sin embargo,
proposals.
ya
But
por el tiempo que he pasado en esto, se llega a
the time
conclusiones
I've been
y se
working on
envían
this,
esas
I've
conclusiones
reached
a la autoridad.
people reach
Hablo de la CONAGUA
conclusions.
o de la Comisión
They
Estatal
send
del
them.
Agua
They send them
o
to
los
whatever
consejos de
authority
cuenca,
is
etcétera.
pertinent.
Pero no se toman en cuenta para nada.
But then they
Doy
are
un
not taken
ejemplo.
into
A finales
account
del año
at
pasado
all.
se hizo algo similar. Y
At the end of last year,
llevó a
something
cabo el
similar
COSCYT, si no me
took
equivoco.
took
Y
place.
se tuvieron conclusiones muy claras, muy concisas, muy
They
buenas
reached
para
very
atacar el problema
concise,
del
very
agua.
clear
Me pregunto
conclusions talking
si
about
lo
water
atendió la
capture.
Comisión Nacional
But
del Agua.
I wonder
No,
if the
no hemos
Commission
visto
of
nada de
National
eso. Y es
Commission
una
of
lástima, es
Water
una tristeza.
took it
Entonces,
into
¿por
account.
qué la
We
autoridad
haven't
no está haciendo su trabajo?
heard
Sí,
about it.
éntrenle a la gobernanza del agua, participen,
So why
pero no
is
sirve
the
de nada,
government not doing
porque al
anything?
final de cuentas ellos
Because
deciden
if we
y
participate
deciden
at
sin
the end
tomar
of
en
the
cuenta
day,
lo que uno
they
sugiere, que en la mayoría
take
de los casos es
decisions
positivo,
without
es de provecho para la población,
taking into
para nuestras
account
ciudades. Entonces,
what we
estamos
say.
mal, debemos de hacer algo.
So we
Así
are
es.
in a bad way, and we
Bien,
have to do
muchas
something
gracias.
about it.
El tiempo ya se nos ha acabado, sin embargo, yo quisiera que
Okay, we are
no se
running out of
quede en
time.
el tintero algo que quiera cada
But
uno de ustedes comentar. ¿Qué es algo
if
que
anything
deba de
that you want
hacer
to
con
comment,
urgencia? ¿Cuáles serían?
I would like you to mention in your comments what you think we should do urgently.
Doctora Maribel.
Maribel,
Pues yo
what do you think?
haré promoción al tema en el que he estado trabajando en los
I'm
últimos
going
años, que
to
es el tema de
promote
recargas
the
de agua.
subject that I have been working on for the last few years, which is water recharge. In the case of La Paz, there is a great potential to be able to identify what projects can be carried out. There's a lot of information. Maybe we need more, but we need to implement it as soon as possible. And another thing has to do, mentioned by my colleagues, to review personal, local, family consumption of water. How can we make the use of water more efficient? Arizona is one of the states in the USA that has grown fastest in the past few years, and they are still using the same amount of water, and that has to do with a much more efficient use of water. Very good. Thank you, Doctora Zeta Flores.
Doctora Sara Díaz. Bueno, me gustaría concluir
yes, thank you. I would like to finish up with two things that we still need here. The subject of leaks, it's vital that we solve this problem. I understand it's very problematic, and it obviously implies a lot of logistic investment, and that unfortunately is not being solved in the rest of the territory of Mexico either. But we are wasting about half the amount of water available. We are wasting that. How can we complain that our state is the driest? And to finish with as a conclusion, without data, it is very complex, it's very difficult to work. And the projection hydraulic in the states and the academic scientific part of this sector, how many headaches have we had because of the difficulty of accessing details of rainfall, how many meteorological stations are still active. Those are things that are basic. So it's very important to allocate a budget to especially because we are the driest state in Mexico. So at least monitor the scarce or medium amount of water that we receive every year in a permanent and constant way all the year through. And thank you very much to all of you.
Doctora Z. Flores. Doctor Arturo
Thank
Cruz
you.
Falcón, resumencito de
Okay,
qué nos
Dr. Arturo
propone.
Cruz, your last
Gracias. Mi
proposal.
aportación sería, bueno,
Thank you.
ya
What I
se
would say,
mencionó que hay muchas
I mentioned it before,
alternativas o fuentes de
there are
abastecimiento,
many
el recurso del
alternatives
agua,
or
artificial, etcétera. Sin embargo,
resources,
como
artificial
prioridad,
recharge,
sí,
etc.
debe
But as a
ser
priority,
el uso eficiente del agua y la
it
cultura del agua.
must be the
Entonces, por un lado,
culture
la
of
cultura del
water and
agua,
the
así como lo
efficient use of
hacía
water,
en la televisión Canal 10,
such
el
as
fallecido Francisco Kim,
Channel
con
10
programas
did
muy claritos sobre
with
cómo cuidar,
programs that were
ahorrar,
very
no
clear
desperdiciar
about
el
how
agua,
to
conservarla.
save, how not to
Se pueden
waste, how
hacer
to
cápsulas, ahí
preserve
está el canal
water.
8 del
We
gobierno,
can
ahí está la
we
Comisión
can
Estatal del Agua que puede aportar
do
un dinero
Channel
para hacer
8
cápsulas.
or the Water
Adelante.
Commission to
Y por otro
offer
lado, el uso eficiente del agua que
information,
debemos de dar
and
nosotros en nuestros hogares,
also
tratar de no desperdiciarla,
as a
ahorrarla,
personal
cuidarla,
thing in our homes, what we have to do with the use
repararla,
of water,
etcétera. Pero
how
eso,
to save,
debido a nuestra
fix
cultura de
leaks,
desperdicio,
etc.
no lo
But
haremos o
our
no lo
culture
hacemos
of
hasta que no
waste
se nos pongan medidores a
means that
todos.
we won't
Porque si no
do
nos
it
afecta el
until we
bolsillo una
all
fuga
have
de agua,
meters, because if it doesn't
que no la
affect our wallet,
reparamos porque
if
pagamos
we
160 o 180 pesos
don't fix it
mensuales,
because we
¿sí?
pay
a las
a
zapas,
fixed amount and it doesn't matter
hasta que no nos pongan medidor y nos
until
hagan
we get the
pagar lo que
meter
gastamos
and they make
en la
us pay
casa,
what we are
entonces va de la
actually
mano
using,
para hacer un uso
then
eficiente del agua. Por eso
we
es
are
importante que la autoridad
not
cumpla su
going to use an
papel y desde
efficient
luego nosotros, los que
use of
somos más
water.
conscientes, también lo hagamos.
So if we are
Pero, repito,
conscientious,
es
we
necesario que se instalen medidores y
also
que poco
fail
a
a
poco se
bit
vaya
in this matter, but
reparando la
with
red de distribución de
meters,
agua potable.
bit
Esa
by
sería mi
bit fixing the
aportación como
network, and
prioridad para no
that
alcanzar el día
is, in my
cero
opinion, the
tan pronto,
priority to
sino
not
que esto se
reach day
retrase, que
zero
conservemos el
so
acuífero, que nos
close,
dé tiempo de otras
but to preserve the
alternativas o fuentes de
aquifer and
abastecimiento de agua,
get time
¿sí?
to
Que se
find
puedan dar
other
más adelante. Entonces
alternative
eso sería lo que
sources of
debemos de
water.
hacer primero, pero a la de ya. Muchas
What
gracias
we have to
a
do,
todos
but now.
por este
Thank you very
espacio,
much,
a todos los que
everyone,
nos escuchan o nos ven en sus
to
pantallas.
all those that are
Y
listening,
gracias a los encargados de esta
and thank you to the people in charge.
Saludos, gracias.
Cheers.
Muchas gracias, doctor Arturo Cruz Falcón.
Thank you very much.
Precisamente como parte de los organizadores está la
As part of the organization, there is the State Commission of Water, who are preparing educational programs, working with schools, promoting the culture of water. So they are part of our promoters in these activities, and they will be participating more actively in the following webinars. I could have said that these last communications that were part of the final conclusions. But here are some final thoughts. We have heard from experts about the use of water and everywhere, but focusing on Baja California Sur and the area of La Paz and Los Cabos, where there is the biggest population, where it is foreseen that in the next 20 years there won't be enough available water. That's why it is very important for us to conclude as citizens. We have to be informed about disability and care for it, take actions day by day in the use of water. Thank you very much to all of you. To our guests that had still a lot of things to bring up.
Leo, si eres tan amable de presentarnos lo que tenemos que entregar.
Leo, if you can share with us what we have coming up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone for bringing to us their knowledge. We have a diploma, which says the State Commission of Water, the University of Baja California Sur, and BCI, and one more that I missed, sorry. Diploma to Cruz Ayala for her participation in the first virtual webinar on use of water.
Compartiendo el tema gestión del agua en la región noroeste de México.
Thank you for being part of the network of scientists that are working on the use of water and the problems related. It is signed by some engineer and by me, Paulina, and myself. We have another diploma for María Flores. Another one for Dr. Arturo Cruz Falcón. More water for Baja California Sur. Thank you, everyone. And let me remind you that in 8 days and every Monday in November, we will be offering these webinars. Monday, November 7th, rainwater captation in an urban environment. See you then. Thank you.
Gracias.
Bye.
Saludos.
Thank you. Cheers.
Gracias.